Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms weekly live stream. I have a bunch of things on my list to be talking about today, and I don't know how many of them I'm going to get to because there may or may not be a patch and things, and the stream code might or might not be tied into that patch. Not that there's anybody left who doesn't know that Birdsong is coming to the game. So I fully expect that patch to go live while I'm talking to you, and for Justin to come over to the window and just knock on it and be like, ah, and then, so anyways, welcome. It is February. It is, I was going to say cold in Victoria, but our guest later today is actually in Montreal, where it's a lot colder. So I will stop myself from complaining. I just want to welcome everybody to the stream. Lucathia, Ray Cool, Lostian86, Vielser. Yup, I'm Mad Bro. Lauren Obo Crazy, Garwar, Thantanos. I saw you chatting in there earlier. Kitty Kitty Big Butt, I think is the full name. Kitty Kitty Big Butt, yep. Silisa, yeah, welcome. So it's 1 o'clock p.m. and Candyman, Towlin, welcome to you as well. Yeah, it's 1 o'clock p.m. and it's time to talk about Idle Champions, and a lot has happened since last week. I don't know how many of you caught the stream on last Thursday, but we had Justin on to talk about an upcoming Chest and Potions update that ended up coming the next day because developers stayed late on a Friday to get that patch out, and so it came out last weekend. So we can go over that for a little bit, and then I'm going to check off some other things on my list to chat about that I might not be going over now. But I also want to, in advance, welcome today's stream guest, Sophie Grenier from Beacom Studios, one of our community Canadian studio across the country, but also like one of our D&D community studios. They put out Tales from Candlekeep, Tomb of Annihilation at the end of last year, and was up to you too, PB and Jotter. Yes, and hello Giant Dwarf as well, Buffalo Val, Axis, always welcome. Yes, so Sophie from Beacom will be joining us in about an hour. We'll be talking about some new stuff that's going on with them, and of course about D&D. Sharp haircut. Oh, thank you. You can thank my barber, Crystal, at Victory Barber here in Victoria. She does great haircuts. If you think I look sharp, it's probably because of her, because I have very photogenic hair, but I wouldn't say that in person it's all that impressive. Anywho, yeah, so, I want to talk a little bit about some things that are coming up, and go over the Reddit Q&A yesterday that was, it seems like every week they're getting larger, which is good, but also it means that answering questions can take up a little bit more time. Yeah, and I think it's been a couple weeks since I plugged the Discord channel. So the official Discord is discord.gg/idlechampions. There's lots of people in there. Usually a few hundred people, and Erica, the amazing producer extraordinaire and community manager for Codename Entertainment, has shared the link. So, yes, welcome. Okay, so yeah, I think I'll bring up my game view because I don't know where I am. I haven't been paying attention. I'm still pushing in Tomb. Looks like. I guess I can max out everybody at this point. I'll just get that done quickly before I get into the Q&A stuff. Oh, I can join myself in the stream. Excellent. And I'll level up other people because why not? Even though it has no impact, really. Doesn't do anything but satisfy my OCD. Okay, so switch this over to 10 levels. Let's see how far I can get. I bet I can get to 220-ish before I have to do anything active. Just leveling up my Jamila and my Nayeli so that they can just keep trucking away. Killing everything. Okay, so let's go over some of the stuff from yesterday's Q&A. Then I'll just pull up in another window here because I thought I had it open already, but it appears that I have not. There were a lot of questions which is great. But sometimes I got to bounce those questions off people who know more about the game than I do, which is to say anything that has to do with math. So let's see. I'm getting the general impression that people are pretty happy with the chest and potions update. Candyman, why don't you use a back row DPS setup with tombs, back row, 1000% damage? You know, I thought about that, and that's probably a better way to do it. I just haven't taken the time yet to just think of another way of setting up my setup. I mean, I like using Calliope to buff. Oh, excuse me. So it's kind of hard to do a back row DPS with her, but this one seems to get to, I don't know, 225 or so before I have to either use potions or do something else. So it's doing all right. I don't have all the blessings unlocked, so. So let's see. We had quite a few people asking about asking for features in the game, which is good because when you pester us about things like, I don't know, the auto progress button turning off, that's a good thing. And, oh, that's odd. Looks like the chroma is reflecting or something behind my head. I wonder what happened there. I'm gonna fix that, I think. That's so weird. How did that change from week to week? Literally the lighting in this room has not changed. Oh, that's better. Okay. Anywho. Yeah, Phelan. When the chroma happened last week, it was because Rudy's setup was different than our setup, and he had added some lighting since we'd done our test. So, yeah, things get shifted around. All right, so just pulling up the Cliff Notes version of the Reddit Q&A so that I don't go over all 104, 106 comments worth of stuff all at once. Okay, so I have this separated into three categories. I have a top wants, like a requests category, a UI requests and suggestions sort of section, and then a champion requests and suggestions sort of section. So from the Q&A yesterday, you know, people are still asking us about ways to unlock and gear up event champions outside of events, and it's something that we haven't developed a way that we want to do that yet. But it will exist. Zelq, if the store is down right now, it probably has something to do with the Steam sale being on. Because for us, as far as I'm aware, everything is fine. But the Steam Lunar sale started at just before 10 a.m. Pacific today. Yeah, Steam tends to be a little slow for the few hours following that launch. So that might be it. What else? So people are asking about, now that the Chest and Potions update has gone out, people are starting to realize, especially once their Potions of Polish selected their ultimate ability related items to upgrade, that there are some items that are less than ideal in the current setup. You know, chalk this up to, you know, just growing pains. And so because there's a cooldown cap and because a shiny gives you such a buff on some items, it's very easy to reach your ultimate cooldown cap sometimes now. And so, you know, people are asking about when we're going to do an item overhaul or when we're going to look at it. And like, there will be an item pass at some point, but I don't have an ETA on it. And again, things related to tanking, healing, you know, one tank being more viable than other tanks, and things like Gromma's Circle the Mountain not, you know, being as viable as perhaps the description should say. And you know, Justin mentioned on stream last week that that there are plans for like a tanking, healing sort of overhaul in the near future. And I can't get into it at all. Except to say that like it's high priority. Like that's something that we very much want to address because yeah, we see the problems that you see, and thank you for, you know, reminding us repeatedly. But we will get to that one. It's higher on the list than many things. And then a lot of things about the UI, everything from you know, auto progress, remembering what you toggled it to to the upgrade button, remembering what you toggled it to I don't understand why Barrow is not on the edge instead of Regis. You know what? I haven't looked at this. I threw this together earlier. How about... yeah, I mean, at this point, because I think that makes Barrow's attack faster, doesn't it? 3.9. Yeah, that should help. I have a lot of Kellam's blessings, but yeah, because I've been working on them this week. I could be further. I'm still in the last tier, just kind of trucking away at it. I'll get there. I don't know why trucking away is my phrase of choice today, but that's what's happening. Alrighty, what else? So yeah, UI suggestions, things like additions to the in-game journal, more complete adventure statistics, a statistics tab with things for people to look at because people want more information about what's happening, what they got in chests, how many gems they got, that kind of thing. And you know, like additional upgrade buttons, like a level to max level kind of button and stuff. And so I have passed all of these along to the development team, and you know, they do get that info. How it gets slotted into their to-do list, I have no insight into. And then we also had some, you know, people are asking us about who the next champion is, of course. And the next champion is a Tabaxi Bard, I don't mind saying, because the stream code directly references them, and that's going to be our next champion. The next one after that, I can't say because we don't know. Or we don't know, but we'll figure it out. Let's see. Somebody suggested that we use Azaka Stormfang, the Tomb of Annihilation guide NPC from the book, who has shown up in some events. Some adventures of ours as a champion, which is honestly somebody that we'd never considered because it's not like on a list of champions. There's no stat sheet for Azaka, but that's an interesting insight, and so that, you know, kind of was one of those moments where we're like, oh yeah, that we have the whole selection of characters we haven't been looking at that we could look at potentially using. And then as per usual, we got our weekly request for a Deacon Scale Singer to be added to the game, and just wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, and then there's also something else I wanted to mention. I don't know how many people actually read the early access update number 21 changelog. But there was a lot of things in it. Perhaps some things that people may have missed, because yes, there was a long slew of potion and chest changes, but there was also some insight into what else we're looking at right now. You know, so you know, things like obviously the rework of offline gold gain, which didn't quite make it this time, but is something that we want to get done as soon as possible. And new ways to approach clicking in the game, because people have been asking us about clicking and its effectiveness and how it caps out and stuff since we started doing streams. And you know, obviously the update to the health, healing, and tanking specs to make tanking a viable alternative to a full-on DPS setup for progressing. So these are significant changes that, you know, we're working on. For those wondering what we are raffling right now, because you know, the exclamation raffle spam has destroyed chat. It is for a Minsk and Boo Go for the Eyes DLC pack. It is the only DLC that we don't have on sale right now through the Steam Lunar Sale, and it is our most recent DLC. And yeah, you get one of these buttes. Silken Cloak of the Beloved Ranger, that's gold and epic. I don't think yours will be level 115, but it might be. Yeah. And just kind of keep leveling my tanks and DPS here. Let this keep going along. And then, yeah, and I'm sure you have questions, so I'm going to start pulling those up now that I have a moment to look at. Question 2, when are we getting Birdsong? Soon. And when I say soon, I mean soon. You are getting Birdsong soon. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to get in trouble for it at this point. Next question from Silisa. Do the Force gray packs come with a piece of shiny equipment. The Q&A made it seem like they do. I believe they do, but I'm not 100% clear on how it works. Because they were, like, when the Potions of Polish went out with the Chest and Potions update, which is something that's never... which is something that's like, we're not going to give out Potions of Polish again. It was just to make up for the fact that we'd made this change. The Force Grey packs, they either do give out one shiny with the pack at part of the chests, or they're going to in the next update. But either way, like, if somebody has gotten one, that will happen. So I think we might be in the midst of that change right now, where like, if you already owned a Force Grey pack before the Chest and Potions update went out, then you were given a Potion of Polish for each one of those packs anyways. But if you have purchased it between then and now, you wouldn't have received a Potion of Polish, and I'm not sure if we have implemented the thing where you get a shiny item from it yet. But if we haven't, we will. It's high on the list. It's I wouldn't be surprised if that change came out today even. The .dk. Like every week, I am going to ask if there will be a mobile version of the game. We're not planning one. Yeah, sorry, the .dk. OG17. Is random D&D guests going to be a common thing going forward? That's cool for people who want to stay, but maybe the raffles should run during the game's half of the stream. It's not something that we're planning on doing every week, but it is something that we wanted to build up our ability to do, just so that we have more things to talk about. We're a small enough company that bringing in one of our staff each week to go over an aspect of the game design isn't always going to be a reality for us. Just today we have 2 artists out sick with just more office plague, and so the other a bunch of work goes on to the other artists, and then like the devs are busy working on things like Birdsong and stuff. So an hour of their time is actually quite a lot. And so this was something that we were doing that we hope that would be very much like it's in the spirit of the D&D community and related to the game and related to D&D video games. But dancing for tips, PB and Jotter, come on. Well, first of all, I can't dance. Second of all, no. But yeah, we want to keep it related to the game, especially since we have plans for other guests in the future. But yeah, it's not something we're planning on doing every week. It's just something that we want to do sometimes. And last week was our first ever one with Rudy, and this week we will be talking with Sophie from Beacom. All right, Draugr. Any plans to add more favored enemies to Minsk's list? Probably not. It's one of those things where, like Ashara's Bond, if we added to it as the game expanded, you would never switch out of those characters, and it would limit design space for future champions. So, I'm not saying we'll never change what Minsk's favorite enemy list is, because it might happen, but I don't think it's something that we have planned anytime soon. Solo Martyr. I am so sorry I'm new to this. What is Birdsong? So Birdsong is a Tabaxi bard from Chult, who was created for the Tales from Candlekeep, who was created for the Tomb of Annihilation board game by WizKids, and then was also added to the Tales from Candlekeep Tomb of Annihilation video game that Beacom put out last year. We've been wanting to add a Tabaxi to the game for a while, and we're still wanting to right now as I say this. What was up? It was, we wanted another bard, we wanted just to add another character, and so Birdsong, I don't know if Birdsong is classified as a Valor Bard or what the specialization is specifically, but I'm pretty sure it's something like a Valor Bard or a College of Swords bard, just, because Birdsong dual wields swords. And you will get to see that very soon. Yes. Let's see. What else? What else do we have? Ant musical. I guess I don't understand favor. Are we supposed to keep it or spend it? How does it help when we don't spend it? Okay, so somebody in chat can definitely explain this better to me than me, because people like players like Thanatos and Silisa have a better math brain. But the cliff notes is that you want to spend favor on blessings to allow you to progress further, but you never want to spend all of it because of how much it slows down your run progression. Like, you want to be able to level up your characters quickly to max level and push to your wall. And so you're balancing the efficiency with how fast you can get there with how much you're spending to upgrade your characters to increase how far you can go. Now, I like to keep a fair amount of favor on my characters because I play very idly. I will, boot up a variant, kill one enemy, buy up to Ashara, and maybe even level them up some and arrange them in a formation. And then I'll tab out for half an hour or longer before I ever look at it again. And if you don't have very much favor, it's very slow going at the start. And so you just kind of want to balance it out. Certainly there are some much more important blessings to get sooner. Increasing champion damage is always going to be good, both in the Kellenbor's campaign and in the Torm's campaign. But you want to get these global blessings as soon as you can. Like the first level global for both campaigns, that increase damage for everything, are invaluable. The Gem Hunter one adds up over time, like you notice it. And the temporary warship, where you increase the amount of favor gained from resets in events, is huge. It's so good. Some of the other ones may or may not have to change based on how the game has evolved. So yeah, like it's just it's a balancing act. Keep enough to level quickly, but spend enough to increase your power so you can push further. Because you won't. Ideally, you've purchased all the blessings before perhaps more are someday released. Alrighty, Bilver. Any chance we will see Wulfgar to complete all the Icewind Dale characters? Well, Wulfgar is one of the companions of the Hall, and to date we have 3 companions of the Hall in game, and there are more. I should stop there. Let's see, Nin Muffin. Have you guys thought of covering everything with hand sanitizer so people don't get sick? That's hilarious. So some of us do have hand sanitizers at our desk. I know Michelle does, and I think she's the only person who hasn't been out with some kind of flu so far this flu season. And there's hand sanitizers in the bathroom, obviously. But Adam, our lead artist, who is out today, he's the last one to fall to the flu. He had avoided it until today. So rest in peace, Adam, and we will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, because we want to play our office D&D during tomorrow's lunch hour, because it's Friday. So please get better. But if you don't, obviously, that's more important. But anyways, just hand sanitizer. Where am I at? 206? I'm getting there. So let's see. What else? Trying to think of what else. Is there something else that people want to ask me about that I'm allowed to answer? I'd love to talk about potential upcoming characters. I think it's a safe bet that more companions of the Hall are coming, but I can't give things like dates or specifics, especially since some of them I don't know. Although as much as I want a Blackguard, we really need a ranged non-magic champion. Lossian 86. I agree, Lossian. That would be great. Some kind of ranged non-magic champion. Certainly it's something we haven't done already. A corpse. Actually flu or just severe cold? I think people overuse flu. I agree, and I think that people do as well. We've had several pretty horrible flus and colds coming through this city this season, and I don't know what Adam has. He said he has a flu. If he's better tomorrow, chances are he didn't. But I don't know. All we can do is cross our fingers and hope he gets better quickly, because he's the dungeon master and we can't play without him. But also because he's a very important part of our team here. So yeah. Yeah, what else? It's funny. It has been an interesting week. Let's see. Win the Fox. Is this game a game yet, or is it still a loot box machine? Well, I don't know. I mean, nobody has to spend anything on the game to play it. Certainly, there's a great deal more content now than there was when the game launched last year, and with plans to not stop adding content to it anytime soon. So, if you like free-to-play games, give it a shot. Let's see, what else we got? Could we have a Rakshasa, please? I don't know. That's a good question. And I just remembered now that people are asking about loot boxes. All loot boxes are not the same thing. That I haven't grabbing my stream code one today. So what is it? Birdsong Best Bard. Blunk. Here we go. Boom. Gold chest. Anyhow, let's see. I have yet to spend money. No loot chests here. Gear chests only. I can get to level 200 in both campaigns. That's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. We love people who spend money on our game because it keeps the lights on and keeps people employed, and it allows us to keep doing this. But yeah, I mean, pretty much everything is earnable in game through playing it. Let's see. Cleric Quintet content in the future. Interesting idea. Tolwyn, could Jarlaxle get a buff when grouped with Dritz? Artemis and Trary, please. I don't know that Dritz and Jarlaxle are really all that close buddies. Certainly, there's some history between Jarlaxle and the rest of the companions of the Hall that one could see as antagonistic, given some of the events that have happened. Let's see. Source. What was the biggest amount of shiny pots you guys gave out? I don't know. I have no idea. But there was somebody in the Discord who went into the channel and was jubilantly expressing their delight at receiving 45 potions of polish, which is a lot. That was the highest number I heard of. That's a crazy number, but thank you to that person for employing me and others like me. It's it's appreciated. It really is, and it's I'm not just trying to be a suck upper. It's like free-to-play games are a game that you do not have, well, if they're well designed, are games that you don't have to contribute with in order to play them. And it actually matters a lot that some people do, and we really appreciate it when they do. So yeah, just thank you for spending money. But if you don't, it's no judgment if you haven't, because not everybody has extra money to spend, and some people just maybe they don't think that the enough value is there. Although I would hope that we had changed their minds with the recent chest and potions update to make it more valuable. Let's see. The Geary. Will we ever get to see the Office Games staff party as player characters? I doubt it. Yeah, the it's funny because we, they're to give a bit of insight into how characters are planned for the game. Justin has a pretty epic spreadsheet that tracks every criteria about characters from from alignments and races to stats, classes, genders, etc. And there is this intricate plan coming out of it, and I can't imagine a way that the Office characters would fit into that, especially when, while a few people would think it's really cool that we've done that and find it amusing, I think a great deal more people would be interested in some other potential characters being added to the game, who are much more popular than the total rando and not always serious characters that we make to play D&D in-house. But I appreciate your interest, Akiri. That's nice of you. Yeah. What else? Let's see. Next stream, Dylan and guests have to show up cosplayed. What would I? What would I dress? Who would I dress up as? Hitch? That seems obvious. You know, I think Artemis Entreri is brown. I could play Artemis Entreri. That'd be a good character to play. I don't have any costumes though. That would be interesting. Let's see. People are still asking about Ravenloft and Strahd. Good old Strahd. That's the campaign actually that we're playing right now. Thanatos, Captain Nerl. Where yeah, the Office campaign where my Shadar-kai Hexblade Warlock was just bitten by a vampire and is no longer able to contact his patron. Things are going kind of sideways in it, which is fun. And it's a wonderful way to be able to spend our lunch hours when everybody is well and in-house and free to do it. So usually means that we play a couple hours a week, which is actually better than my regular group because that group is busy, and we've only played 2 or 3 times this year so far, just because it's been harder to line up schedules. So yeah. Giant Dwarf. As for Rakshasa, they are very evil, not to mention very hard to conquer. I don't see them meshing with the general goals of a player party. It's true. And also, one thing to keep in mind, everyone, we don't have like 100% absolute free reign to just dump any kind of character we want into the game. Like, everything does have to go through Wizards of the Coast. And so if they look at a character that we've created and they're like, that's overpowered and doesn't make sense, and that race would never work with, you know, blah, 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 and so you can't do it, that can happen as well. So there's always things like that. Let's see. Draugr. Ravenloft would be perfect for this Halloween. Wink, wink. Wouldn't it? Yeah. Castle Ravenloft. Good place. Let's see. PB and Jodder. Does the Office use the Adventure League modules or custom? Not for the Office games. Right now we are using just from official 5e books. Well, actually, 5e books and Unearthed Arcana, provided it's not broken. So the only restrictions that Adam gave us for the game were that we couldn't have any like game-breakingly ridiculous stuff like characters that fly that can just make things irrelevant. So no flying, at least not until we earn it levels-wise. But we were open to, yeah, we could use some classes that have been put out through UA, but most of us opted for stuff from like Xanathar's Guide, because I think we have one lore bard, we have one druid. I forget which type of druid he is, and then a Hexblade Warlock and a thief rogue. Let's see. Garawar. April Fools should be the C&E champs as the NPCs the champions are fighting in a special adventure. That could be interesting. We're a little close to April, though, to throw something like that together, because that's not what we're planning to do right now. So, yeah. Candyman. I'm headed to local game store tonight to buy Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and Monster's Manual. Not sure what adventure module I want to buy. Haven't played D&D in years, and 12-year-old daughter came home from school after joining the D&D club at her school. Talk about bonding time. That is awesome. 5e is 5e is so much more accessible than I have felt like D&D has ever been. My fiance, who had no interest in playing D&D and called me a nerd for my interest in it, not that long ago, I managed to get her to watch some Force Grey with me, because she's like, oh, are those celebrities? Like, is that the guy from True Blood? And I'm like, yeah, it is. And so got her to watch Force Grey and the end of Force Grey, which got her interested enough in trying the game and now she plays in a campaign with me. She's playing a bard as well, actually. She's playing a bard in a campaign where I'm a cleric, and she's loving it. She spends as much time working on it, trying to figure out what spells she wants next, etc., as most hardcore players. So it's like 5e is accessible, like in just a really brilliant way. I call her a nerd anyways, Draugr, because she's nerdy about other things. Yeah, it's such a good gateway into D&D. Some of the other editions can be a little bit harder to learn, depending. So, yeah. Let's see. Question. Oh, this is an interesting one. RJ Johnson 221965. When will I be able to get armor for one of my characters that I simply cannot get through any chests? You just got to keep opening chests. Yeah. Now, if it's an event champion and you miss the window to gear them up, you'll have to wait until there's either another chest type or another way to gear them up in game. But if it's one of the characters from the core campaign that can be unlocked, like Dritz, or it is one of the other core 12 characters that the game launched with, just keep opening chests until you get them. And I wish you luck. There are some levels of protection in the sense that, like, once you've opened enough chests, because you're guaranteed a rare in each chest, eventually, like, if you have one character who has no gear and everybody else is geared, that character's gear will start showing up more frequently. Alrighty. What the? Ant Musical. Is the Ready Player One film going to have the Dungeons and Dragons Tomb of Horrors module part be prominent in it like it is in the book? I have no idea. What I do know is that Ready Player One, the book, which I've actually read this book, which is good, has so many IPs in it that it seemed like it could never possibly be adapted. And now, because it's Steven Spielberg, it's coming out and it is being adapted. I have no idea what's going to be in it. I mean, obviously Tracer isn't in the book, but is in the trailer for the film. So who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. No idea. Let's see. That might be a good question for someone like Mike Merles, though. Maybe you could tweet him, or tweet Jeremy Crawford or somebody. Be like, hey, like, is this going to be in the Ready Player One film? Because, yeah, I'd be curious to know that. Oh, is this Guardian going to kill me if I don't do something? I'm just going to click all the things. I mean, I doubt it's going to do it. I really just have to wait, but... Oh, yeah, Nayeli's getting stomped. I think I'm getting close to my wall, guys. Do I want to cheat? No, I don't. Actually, I'll put it to you. Since I don't mind stopping this run early. What adventure should I do now? Should I do Beast Intentions? Yeah. Let me know. Let's see. Cryptic 666. Will there be a DLC pack for Ashara soon? Define soon. PB and Jotter. Will there be a button added that dumps all ultimates immediately? Probably not. But I suppose if it's something that enough players request regularly, it could be something that someday shows up. Only an 8% increase? Ugh. I guess I usually let my game idle a little bit longer, but that's fine. There's only one I haven't completed. So I guess I could load that one up. Yeah. It's interesting. So on the subject of ultimates, it's something that Justin has brought up on stream, and I in terms of like choice, because people have asked, like, will you toggle ultimates so that they will be cast automatically? And it's like, well, no, because then it just becomes more of the character's automatic DPS, like their swing timer, and it doesn't, Like, it doesn't add anything to the gameplay. Like, we want the ultimates to be something that is active. Where's my one that's remaining? Yeah, I think this is just it. What is it? Lost in the Deep. I haven't done this one. It's the one where you lose slots. This one's... All right. Okay, I'm doing it. Grubby child. I've lost my dog. Yeah, like, I care. Let's so not do that quest in a D&D game. Just walk right past that kid. All right. That should be enough to get this rolling. Anyway, so yeah, on the subject of ultimate abilities, casting them and having them have an impact on the game is like the desire. And so what we've noticed lately is that you know, they're not functioning in the ideal way. So, you know, like, there will probably be some kind of changes, but it's like, it's not a balancing thing that's as high on the priority list as some other things. You know, oh, I'm gonna get myself in trouble because I want to give more detail about things, but like, there's just so far I can't get into it, and also keep my job. So let's just say that we hear you, and we hear your concerns. You know, certainly we want ultimate abilities when you use them to feel awesome and like, yeah, you used your ultimate, like you smoked that dude, etc. So we'll get there. With double X, are they going to increase the cap? I keep getting it 2/3 of the way through. If you're asking specifically whether or not we will increase the level cap for the individual champions and how far they can be leveled, it will happen. Yeah. Strong Arm 852, yes, I was very lucky. My Potions of Polish, for some reason, geared out Regis. Regis and Bruner, who are my main geared characters, making them essentially unswappable. Was not that lucky with Celeste. So that's what happens. Gotta love that RNG. So yes, with double X, the level cap will at some point be increased. I don't have an ETA on that. It's not happening today, and I don't know that it's happening soon. ILED 1978. How often do events happen? Do characters in previous events come back around? Okay, so there's a little bit of a tricky question. Not because the answer is super complicated, but mostly because we don't have a 100% consistent cadence with which we release content yet. You know, you can expect an event a month. You know, we don't want to have events back to back, so that one is finishing the same week or within a week of when the next one is starting. You know, we like to have breaks in between. But you know, it's safe to say that yes, events are monthly, maybe a little bit more than monthly. And in terms of characters from previous events coming back around, assuming we do what we did with Crusaders of the Lost Idols, where there are annual events that happen every year. You know, like I think right now it's Mercy's Mix-Up 2018 with Mercy's Mix-Up for the third time. There are 3 tiers of Crusaders available for that. A tier from each year, and you can complete the objectives to get each one. Every year they come around. It's possible that we'll do something like that, but it's not confirmed because we haven't quite decided how we want to do it yet. But previous event champions will become available again. Like, that is something we're committed to. We just haven't quite figured out how that looks yet. So that's probably the most I can say about it. You know, like, we will get there. I'm just gonna maybe make my characters suck a little less right now. Oh, vengeance. Vengeance all the way. Vengeance too good. All right. Yeah, I led 1978. Like, I can't really give more of an answer than that. Awesome Ruby. Any reason to wait with using my shiny potion? That's up to you. I mean, you know, do you feel like you want to wait? I mean, certainly if you had enough of them, for some reason you had enough that you could use one for every character, you would save the remainder for when new characters come out, because it would definitely be on theirs, right? But yeah, I can't think of a reason why you would wait on using them. Yeah. I'm just curious. Can everybody hear my coworker Corey coughing through the wall when that happens? Because like it's really clear to my headphones, but I'm not sure if it's coming through the board and the mic's picking it up or not. Because like it's Corey is the unfortunate victim of the like ultra harsh cough. Yeah, you guys did hear that? Oh man, poor Corey. Well, wish Corey well. Wish him some love, because yeah, he got the bad cough. Yeah, you get Corey coughing in stereo. Yeah, of course you do, Kat. He's right behind you. Go rub some Vicks on him. I am not going to touch Corey, but thank you. Yeah, I thought that might happen. What about the AC? Can you guys hear the air conditioning above me, like the vent? Because like again, I can hear it clearly, but I'm not sure if it's coming through the board or not. Part of the reason we play music during this is so that you don't hear the vibration overhead. Because, oh man, yeah. Okay, let's see. Next question, Deathly Hero. Will there be a fast track level 100 or 150 for players trying to get back to their wall? So that's an interesting question, one that ties in directly to a number of questions that we've received almost every stream, that Dave has answered a couple of times now. Essentially, we know that like eventually it'll reach the point where your wall is hours of idle play away, and we do have a desire to, once it reaches a certain point, to implement a way to speed up the earlier levels. Now, what shape that takes and how that looks is not something that it's not something that I have any information on to share or any design thoughts on for what's planned, except to say that like it's on our radar, because yeah, eventually it will be a very long time for you to reach your wall, and so we will want to speed that up. Yeah, sorry, Deathly Hero, I can't give you more of an answer, because there literally isn't more for me to say about it yet. PB and Jotter, how far away is your office from Beacom's office? That's an interesting question. Well, they're in Montreal, Quebec, and we are in Victoria, BC. So it's cross-continent. So I imagine it's kind of far, but I bet I could look it up on Google right now. Let me just pull up their address in Montreal. 825 Boulevard Le Bourgeois, I think. Let's see. Oh no, they're in Quebec City. Oh, I'm sorry, they're not in Montreal. They're in Quebec City. My mistake. That's further, I think. Pull that up on maps. Actually, I'm just going to do Quebec City too. And just see how many kilometers it is to Victoria, BC from Quebec. Except I'll probably have to do it without typos. Dun, dun, dun. Let's do by air. Let's see, it's a 9-hour flight. Ooh. Oh, it doesn't say the distance. Oh, I'm disappointed. But I can say that it's a cross-continent. I mean, Quebec City is further east than like New York City, and Victoria is as far west as San Francisco, Seattle. So it's across continent. They are not close by. So it's actually a 3-hour difference. So should be thankful to Sophie when she does tune in to take time in her day to stick around at our office to do the call. All right. With XX, was the new small fire breath potion bugged on the update? Because I used one and it did nothing. I don't know that it was bugged on the update. I suppose it depends on where your wall is. It's based on click damage, right? If you're using Barrowin, which does sort of like invisible buff damage and doesn't affect your party DPS like the potions do, you won't notice anything. So I guess the thing is, what is this? Oh, somebody just linked something that I hadn't seen before. Anywho, what was I saying? So I don't think it's bugged, but it is totally okay. Like if you think it wasn't working properly, to open a ticket and ask some questions, send it to Dave, because I think either Dave or Mark will probably see it, and then they can have a look. I know there was a question yesterday about Fire Breath potions stacking the new rarities of them, and they are supposed to, but I don't know. I don't personally know 100% for sure if they are right now. Jozo58. Any plans to change the 100 crystals reward for completing variants? So variant and quest rewards is something that will change at some point. I don't have an ETA on it. It's something that we're aware of because yeah, certainly some of those variants are a lot more challenging than others, and yeah, you kind of you want the reward to fit the effort put in to get it. So it's something that's on our radar. Sotius, what's that potions to level up gear thing? So if you're referring to blacksmith contracts, what they do is you use them on a champion and a random piece of their gear will increase an item level. So like if I pull up Nayeli here, you can see that Nayeli's Gauntlets of Sworn Vengeance are level 164. Now if you by some magic were able to, like the first chest you ever opened gave you an epic Gauntlets of Sworn Vengeance for Nayeli, they'd be level 1 with significantly lower stats than this. And so the level increases it adds to the power of an item. And so what the blacksmith contracts do is they allow you to just increase the power level of a champion. But I believe they need all 6 item slots in order to function. So if your champion isn't completely geared, you can't use it on them yet. Let's see. Obo Crazy. Lauren, what'd you ask me? On Twitter, Greg Tito said that Dylan will tell you how to get 5 gajillion gold pieces on today's stream. When does that happen on the stream, and can that be now? That's funny. God, I don't know in scientific notation how much a gajillion is. But what I do know is all you have to do is idle in the game, and the further you get, the more money you get, and eventually you'll have a gajillion. That's the best I could do, honestly. I don't know what else I would say. Nayeli, damn thieves! Lucky for whoever owns this place. We came along. Celeste, speaking of merchant, my warehouse. What happened? Why is there so much blood? Okay. Next question. Cryptic 666. Is there any way to adjust our DPS number while using Barrowin? I'm not sure what you mean by the question. Wait, no, Hitch is better DPS than Minsk. Yeah, okay. Key strike. Melee? Yeah, I used Jamila DPS on this one, right? I can't remember. I hope I'm not screwing this up. This is one of those ones where if I'm not paying attention and I build the wrong thing, I'm going to lose those characters later on anyways. Oh, you're Cryptic 666. You're wondering about the making ultimates great again. The only thing I can really say about that is that we still aren't 100% happy with where Barrowin is at and how that all works. Giant Dwarf. Why do both versions of Fire Breath pots essentially translate to never buy click damage? What I can say is that how clicking works in the game is the subject of an upcoming update. Delta Novum. Can you guys add an a subtle audio cue for crows, bush goblins, and rocks? It's the first time that's been asked. I will make a note and see if there's a way for that to show up. Sodius, will you guys add a journal that contains the completed quests text, just to read them again after completing? I will also make a note about that one. We've had a lot of people asking questions about our journal lately. Certainly we could do more. Badger food, I'm probably leaning too far away from the mic, because if I get in too close, I get too loud. And so if I'm getting too quiet, just tell me to get back to my mic and I will. Let's see. Would be nice to read them sometime. Okay, yeah, so just access to completed quests and stuff. Okay, yeah, certainly there's more we can do with the journal. Nomison. Do the slots lost in Lost in the Deep change with every run? And if not, why does the tooltip say that the slot's at the beginning so that people can try and guess whether they can actually beat it? No, I'm pretty sure it is consistent. Because if it was random, then it would be quite literally possible for you to, RNG-wise, not be able to complete the adventure. Yeah, I'm almost 100% certain that they are set already. Now that being said, I haven't completed this adventure yet, so I guess we shall see. Let's see. Rune Slash. Will there be a way to block a character so we won't be able to level them up by misclick? Oh, I'm having a technical thing. Fix something here. God, there's no space on this desk. If you can hear my mouse shuffling back and forth, it's because there's about that much space for it to move in. Because of this giant tablet that we installed in the desk so that Cat could draw on stream a couple weeks ago. So, just 207 212 207 490. All right, so next question. Any chance Idle Champions may be put on the Twitch Prime loot list in the future? Kill Wolfie. You know, that's a very good question, and you probably just made our marketing director Clive salivate at the idea. So I'm gonna make a note about it in case he wasn't listening, because yeah, why not? Cranky Frank. Can distractions be added to every zone A to make the distractions buff more valuable, and B, reward people that play more actively? So what I can say about distractions is that we definitely have plans for more of them, and it's one of those things that just keeps getting it keeps slipping through the cracks. But yeah, we want to do more distractions. Just period. We straight up want to do more. Sophia, not Loren. Any chance of implementing UI scaling upwards? High resolution display needs bigger interface, not smaller. I will make a note. That's a good request for the UI team. Just trying to... Oh, I'm assuming everybody heard that. It's that time. So I would like to welcome our guest, Sophie Grenier from Beacom Studios, to the stream, and I will just switch over to a view where we can actually see her. Hello, Sophie.
There we go. Hello.
Good evening, I believe, because it's 5 p.m. for you, so it's not exactly afternoon anymore. Yeah, it looks like we are just giving away a key for the Tales from Candlekeep Tomb of Annihilation with the Kawasha DLC right now.
Chat's on fire.
Yeah. It's so it's so hard to follow when there is a raffle. It's just boom, it's gone. Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me tonight. I'm excited. It's great to be here.
No, and thank you as well for taking the time to join us. It's getting a little later for you, so I appreciate you sticking around.
Yeah, I heard you earlier saying the distance between Montreal and Vancouver, BC.
Yeah, Victoria.
Victoria, and
It's far.
it's far.
It's not
Yeah,
close.
It is.
Yeah.
We're across the whole country here.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually only been out that far once, for a journalism conference when I was still in university. So.
Really?
Yeah. It was a while ago. The only thing I liked was that all the people that I went with, because I look Hawaiian, nobody assumed that I spoke French anywhere. Whereas everybody else, they just did. But for me, they just started speaking in English right away. It was great.
So do you know French?
I do not. No.
Okay.
I mean, I took the French in school, like we all do, well, across Canada even. But it's just, I don't know. I never had a knack for it.
Nice. I've never
Much
been
better
on the
at
west
reading.
coast of Canada. Like I've been on the west coast of the US many times, but not even my own country. Maybe one day.
Well, if you make the trip and you find yourself on Vancouver Island, go to Tofino.
Yeah.
I mean, Victoria is beautiful and like there's lots of stuff on the island, but got to go to Tofino at least once. Yeah.
All right.
If only to experience the terrible highway that's extremely dangerous to get there. But it's I guess there's a reason that it's a global destination. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So do you want me to introduce myself to chat? I see they're wondering like who I am.
Yes, please do.
So well, as you can see right down here on the overlay, my name is Sophie. At Beacom Studios, I do community and also marketing. So I do from community management, like you are so familiar yourself, so all the social media stuff, but I also do things on the media side, so media relations with regular media and influencers, you know, YouTubers, Twitchers, and whatnot. And marketing, so I'm putting the game out there. Essentially, that's what I do here.
Cool. And what would you like to talk about today?
Yeah, well, I guess we can start with the main topic of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
You know, just discussing a bit over my experience with the whole D&D world, so you can, you know, put a bit of experience on who, you know, who's that person to work on a D&D title.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey.
And I'm curious about your own experience with D&D, Dylan, if you want to also share.
Yeah, sure.
I've been playing D&D games for as long as I remember. I was very little. My brothers have always been a big influence. So they've played, you know, pen and paper, and I was too young to play with them, but I was watching their games. But I started D&D mostly on the digital side when Baldur's Gate came out in 1998 with BioWare. And my brothers were like, hey, you don't speak English. Obviously, the game was English only back then. And I was making a wizard, and I was challenged that I was never going to be able to beat the game. And I did. I was like 10 years old. So I've been playing Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights, Icewind Dale, all of the Beamdog titles of today, you know, and also MMORPGs, so D&D Online and Neverwinter Online.
Oh, right on.
Yes, I still play them even today once in a while. But I recently made a comeback to D&D pen and paper with Tomb of Annihilation. So I'm playing for the first time as well a barbarian. I've always played wizards, evokers, enchanters, name it, wizards.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, with this campaign, I was gonna play something different. So I play a berserker with a two-hand axe, and it's just really awesome. And with the Tomb of Annihilation, I like the world. Just to give you a bit of the story of what we did last game, we had a dinosaur race. With the players.
Nice.
And we totally cheated the race. Like our druid transformed into a dinosaur, and we registered the dinosaur for the race. But it was like, it was really cool.
Nice. Yeah. You know, it's funny. I'm playing in two campaigns right now. My main campaign with my fiance and some close friends of ours, we're doing Tomb of Annihilation, and I'm playing an Azamar cleric, the healer of the group. And we are, what did we just do? We just left Kirsabal to get a black orchid for a quest. And most of the session was actually spent RPing and not in combat, because we avoided combat a bunch of times. because that character's a little bit more diplomatic, and and then managed to talk our way out of fighting a Gorgon, which was nice. And so that one went really well. And then this week in the Office campaign, I'm playing a really antagonistic warlock hexblade that
nice.
does not have a lot of social skills, he's having a rough go of it. Actually, we had to stop during combat, but because to get back to work. But
that's so amazing.
Fighting a werewolf. Already been bitten by a vampire. Things are not going great. So
my warrior, her background, like she was raised by wolves. So you imagine the role play and the language that I have in the game. It's like growling and a word here and there, and she just wants to like. The violence is, the answers to everything. So as a warrior, it's just so hilarious. I'm not used to, role play something like that, but I love doing it. So.
Yeah, and it's also it's really fun to get outside your comfort zone with characters too. I mean, the first times you play, you pick the things that you attracted to the most in the characters. Like, I've always wanted to be a wizard, so you play one.
Right.
But then you get to start trying other things, and then it forces you outside your comfort zone, and you try other stuff, and it's wonderful. Yeah.
It is. I'm really enjoying the whole warrior thing. It's a lot more simple than, okay, do I still have spells? Do I, what cantrips do I have at this point? So I'm really enjoying this experience, especially in Schultz, because it's so different than the usual, just dinosaurs. Just dinosaurs put a whole difference in the whole campaign. So,
yeah, dinosaurs and jungles and disease and lots of zombies. Yeah, it's a fun setting, actually. I'm excited to get to the tomb and probably die.
Right. So yeah.
Before we get too far into it, I'm gonna, because I don't want to ignore the chat entirely.
Absolutely. Of course.
Do any of you have any questions for Sophie? So Beacom makes Tales from Candlekeep, Tomb of Annihilation, which released a new DLC today. This morning, I think. So if you have any questions for Sophie, fire them our way. I saw that somebody was asking about Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights, and you're thinking of Beamdog, not Be Calm, but I can understand how you might get confused.
No, that's Beamdog.
Yeah.
I was saying how I played these games a whole lot, but yeah, we're behind Tales from Candlekeep. So if you're not familiar with that title, it's the PC adaptation of the Tomb of Annihilation board game by WizKids. So we've taken the board game and made a PC version of that board game on Steam. And today, I'll discuss maybe that more in specifics later.
Yeah.
Today, but we have the Druid that we have launched just this morning.
Yes, the one right there.
I'm doing this here.
Yeah, Kawasha. Actually, yeah. Like, what made Beacom pick Kawasha, actually, or did you pick Kawasha?
To release today. So, in the board game, they all come with a preset of characters, and normally it was 5 characters in the game, and as friends in the real life world around the table, you decide who plays what, or you can play solo or 2 or 3. It works up to 5. When we launched Tales from Candlekeep, we had a very strict schedule as well, and Kawasha is one of the most complex heroes that we had to develop, and we really wanted to be sure he was polished and ready before the his release. So we waited before we released him at launch, and the reason why Kawasha is a lot more complex than Ishara, Birdsong, Artis, or Dragonbait is the fact that he can shapeshift. As a druid, he can transform into other creatures, an ape, a dinosaur. He also has a light that has its own AI. So it was a more challenge, and we really wanted him to be ready for the game before release.
That makes a lot of sense. We can appreciate wanting to iron out bugs in characters before they're released.
Yes.
So, yeah, actually, I'm still surprised. I keep expecting this game to be like, you need to reset for an update. So I guess maybe if I'm lucky, it'll happen immediately after the stream and not crash during the stream. So we have a few questions for you here.
I can take one right now. If somebody's asking, is Candlekeep only on Steam? It's actually also on the Twitch store as of today, so you can get it.
Right on.
as well, but it's on Steam. You know, if you want to go and get the Steam game with Kawasha, it's all there today with the complete edition that you can get a bundle with the base game and all of the DLCs. So it's there as well.
Oh, right on.
So yeah.
You know, we have somebody named Noxious Taco asking if is there a tutorial in Tales from Candlekeep Tomb of Annihilation that teaches you how to play?
Yes, of course. So you get in the game and you learn the basics. So how to move, how to attack, how the game works. But we also have a rule book outside of the game that you can download on Steam, and we also have on the Steam forums where you can read the rules, because, you know, as a PC adaptation of a board game that has a very set of complex rules sets, we also have that at your disposal.
Cool. And then, of course, I know DLC just came out today, but there are a number of questions asking who's next. Will they see Dritz? You know, that kind of thing.
So, well, I can't confirm anything, but we do have a lot of discussions. And that would be really amazing, you know, to have other board games like Legend of Dritz, Castle Ravenloft, Temple of Elemental Evil, and all those other board games of the Adventure System board game by WizKids, because these board games can mix and match their characters. Legend of Dritz, for example, you mentioned Dritz. We could have Dritz into Tales from Candlekeep. So, of course, I can't confirm or deny anything at the moment. Yep. But we definitely have a lot of discussions, and we would love to do that. But when we do, if we do have information on that, I'll be sure to let you guys know.
Absolutely. Awesome.
I'm curious what chat would like us to work on first. Say if we had to pick a board game, well, which one would it be?
I'm sure we'll get some answers shortly. One of our regulars, Thantanos, wants to know whether you helped create a character for Tales from Candlekeep.
So personally, no. Like, I'm not on the whole design team or whatnot. So I do purely marketing. So I work on it after it's done, and then you put it out there. But what's really nice, WizKids, you know, made the Birdsong character for Tomb of Annihilation, and we were able to like tweak Birdsong background and story, and also a bit of Birdsong for the PC adaptation. So it's a thing that we did, but the game is like, the whole game design was made from the start with the board game. So what we did was we took that and then put it into a PC. So I didn't create anything personally.
Okay. It's interesting that you mentioned that about Birdsong, because the bio in the board game is pretty brief.
2 lines or something like that.
Yes. Yeah, just a couple of sentences on the card. So, what's that process like when you have to make you have to evolve the character just a little bit to add them to the game?
Well, it's talk with Wizards, of course, so we can't just invent without any approval from Wizard of the Coast. So it's our design team that just goes and production team that works with that, and then we see if it's approved or tweaked or whatnot, and it goes from there.
Right on. And it looks like PB and Jotter wants to know whether or not Kawasha gets an adventure pack similar to other characters.
Oh, well, hi PB. He's also a regular on our streams. So
good.
To you. At this time, we don't have plans to have a specific DLC with crafting materials and whatnot for Kawasha. I can't say it won't happen in the future, but right now it's not something that we have in the works. Okay.
Yeah. It looks like I skipped some questions that they had for me before we got in. Right. Let's see. I don't know that I can address any of them though. Somebody asking about Tier 4 blessings, of which I cannot comment. And then some other suggestions for the UI. So I'll just make notes about those and address them later. Okay. So yeah, getting back to it. You know. What's it like developing a board game versus working on some of the other titles that Beacom has done?
Oh, wow. So it's really different because, first of all, we take something that already exists and we have to adapt it to PC. So it's really different than the other games we've made where we just, make the whole design there. So the board game already had its established rules, but we had to tweak it to make it playable, better for players on a PC version, of course. A board game versus a PC game, the pacing has to be different. So the die rolls, for examples, or just the tiles being dropped, or the monsters, in the board game, the player takes a monster and puts the monster on the tile where it's supposed to go, but it's everything that we had to automate for the digital adaptation. So and it's just making taking things that already exist and making it seamless for players and fast-paced, as well as keeping the core essence of the original game. So it's something like really special for this title that we had to go through.
Yeah. Did you find, like, I know we have a number of D&D fans in our office, and so people are pretty excited to get to work on this stuff because there's stacks of D&D books on every desk. Did you find something similar at Beacom?
Absolutely. We have so many hardcore D&D fans in the office, and everyone that has worked on this title is so excited. I think you can say, hey, it's a life achievement to be working on a D&D game, especially since you're a fan. I'm a fan of D&D since I'm 9 or 10 years old. So I think it's really awesome. But also seeing a board game that is, very successful, like Tomb of Annihilation, and putting it as a PC, it's a very cool achievement to say that, hey, you've done this. And we have groups of people at the office that play D&D in their free time. I'm one of them. I play Tomb of Annihilation campaign, and so many D&D fans, not only from pen and paper, but also digitally. So other people that play D&D PC games and whatnot. So it's really nice.
Yeah.
To see.
On the topic of playing D&D games, do you find that as you have played, you have characters and memories from it that, like, really stand out, like when you think of playing D&D?
Well, I can just speak from my whole Baldur's Gate experience. My favorite hero is Minsk, and seeing him come back in Idle Champions, I was so excited. But I have memories of just playing over and over those digital games, but also online games, MMORPGs with friends, and just funny adventures, like I was mentioning the dinosaur race we had. I'll probably always remember that sort of thing happening because it's so hilarious. So yes. Yeah,
it's interesting. I remember talking to somebody about it recently, and how it's interesting that you can play a game where everything is make-believe, like everybody's just kind of imagining how things are happening, and you might have miniatures on a board or something, and you might not, but you like form some like really strong shared memories about what those experiences are like with the people that you're playing them with.
Yes.
It's like, and so when you refer to it, it's like, it's not, do you remember that time we were playing D&D and these things happened? It's like, hey, do you remember that time we did whatever? And it's what you did in the game, and you were playing a game together. But I've always found it really fascinating how it makes that connection in your brain, and how you remember it long after it's happened.
Do you remember when I killed the whole party, doing this or that? It's just,
And nobody forgets when you do that, that's for sure.
Oh no, yes. Definitely not.
Like even just yesterday when we were playing, and it's like my warlock thinks he's awesome, goes in to attack a guy. He's got he casts mirror image, so there's 3 copies of him there, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna get hit, I can run in. And it's like, first guy who rolls to attack me launches an arrow, rolls a critical. I roll to counter the critical with the mirror image. Roll a 1, get smoked, and just boom. I'm like, wow, okay. Like, just right through everything. It was funny. It was a bit of a face palm when it happened, but it's just
roll a 1, and oh my god.
Yeah. But we were laughing. We were having fun.
Yeah, definitely. So. Yeah. You were talking about some of the challenges we've had. Another thing that we had to take into consideration when we made Tales from Candlekeep is, when you play the board game, players take a bit of freedom as to, okay, can I shoot this guy through these tiles even if there's rocks or trees, or the line of sight thing. And when we did Tales from Candlekeep, we had to handle that differently and say, all right, well, we have to put line of sight in the game, because if you have your archer shooting an arrow, it was really weird seeing the arrow going through all of the map obstacles and just go straight for the enemy. So there's things like that, the path, the movement. Uh, it's things that we had to adjust to make it more believable as a PC game.
Mhm.
So same thing with when you play the game, you take a card, you have an encounter, but in the game we didn't want to have like pause of everything. Okay, I moved the monster, I have this pop up, I have this. So we had to adjust, and that's why we had it like the encounter phase, because in the board game there's only like hero phase, exploration, and then it's the villain phase, and the encounter happens at the start of the villain phase.
Yeah.
So we had to just tweak. There's some differences like that we had it in the game, but overall it was just getting the essence of the board game into the PC as best as we could.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. I wish like Justin or one of the other developers was with me so they could have like that design oriented conversation, because well, it's like I find it interesting, but like I don't have a grasp of how those development challenges really, like how they really impact your way to build something and like to make those changes. Certainly I look over at like Justin when he's working on everything related to this game and everything related to our other game, Crusaders, at the same time. It's just like I'm like that's a lot of spreadsheets. That's a lot of stuff open.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the same with being a indie small studio. We had also to do a lot of multitasking. So our game level designer is also the person doing the music and the sound effects.
Of course.
So it's stuff like that everybody put all their skills into the game with the resources we've had. It's really fun because the game design is really cool, but so is the music. But you can't really usually put these two together and say, hey, the same guy did all that. So a bit of things like that in the studio, and it's really nice that we have that amount of skills into people here. So it's great.
Everybody's fulfilling multiple roles.
Yeah, multiple hats as we call it. So yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. I had questions about streaming actually, because you guys stream on Fridays still, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Friday at 12 PST.
Okay, and like, so were you like us in that like you were coming on board the D&D streaming community towards the end of last year, and like was that a challenge for you guys to get that together too, or how was that like?
No, because it was for the schedule, because there's so many things going on in the D&D schedule, so we had to find our place there. But we were streaming the other title we've made in the studio before.
Oh, okay.
So our mobile game, Little Lords of Twilight, it's on Steam now as well. But we were starting the whole streaming with that game, because at Beacom, we've been around for 20-something years. We've done a lot of things for clients. But we recently, for the 20th anniversary of the studio, the team decided, hey, we're gonna do our own IP for ourselves, to ourselves, and that was Little Lords. And we started our streaming experience with that game through. It was a bit harder because it was a tablet and you had to stream mobile. So we did that, and also when it came out on Steam, we started playing on Steam. And then when we started D&D, we had the whole streaming stuff set up for the game, and we just changed stuff around to adapt it to the D&D streaming. But that's it. The biggest difference I could personally say is we have the Dungeons and Dragon powerhouse behind. So the hosting on D&D, there's 348 people watching, and it's just
yeah, and certainly depending on where you get sandwiched in the schedule, there's there may or may not be some things coming before or after you.
We have the amazing team of Roll20 playing the stream after us.
Oh, Adam Coble's stream, right on.
Yes, and sometimes we have fireside chat right before. So we're like, hey, don't stop for us, you guys. You're doing amazing.
I Thursdays are kind of bare right now because the only thing I think on the schedule today is Critical Role at 7 p.m. Pacific. But
and you guys,
I mean, nobody knows who they are, but I know that they're adding, because Holly Conrad is starting a stream next week on Thursday that starts at 5. And so I suspect the Thursday night lineup will fill up. Because we obviously at the end of last year we had Lauren's show, Obo Crazy, the Destiny and Doom was on immediately following us, and I think Acquisitions Incorporated was on on Thursdays for a while as well. But I think they've moved. Yeah. Week to week. It can be hard to keep track sometimes.
So how's your format? Do you always do 2 hours, like have Q&A and?
Yeah. You know, it depends on the week and what has come out. But we tend to have about an hour and 55-ish because we were sandwiched in between two shows, one that ended just before us and one that started right at 3 p.m. We tried to make sure we wrapped up a few minutes early so that Lauren and her team had a little bit of leeway with the starting of their stream, and then 2 hours of Dylan fumbling through chat. Thanks.
Yes, I just heard
that. And so we do an hour or so of just catching up, going over the recent Q&As and stuff, just trying to get people on the same page about what information has come out. And then the second half tends to be a guest, whether that's someone like yourself or one of our artists on stream to draw, or some combination of things. So, although last week we had 2 guests because we had Justin on right at the start to explain the chest and potions update, and then we had Rudy on as a guest afterwards. So
yeah, I saw that. That was great. Rudy's amazing.
Yeah, he's really wonderful. Lauren just posted that Holly's show is called Trapped in a Birdcage, and it starts next week at 5 p.m. Pacific, February 22nd. So
okay, so that's 8 p.m. my time.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
And then followed by Critical Role, which, I mean, Critical Role starting at 7. I guess it's getting a little bit later for you, especially since they tend to play for 3-4 hours. So
yeah, I can't watch all of it. Sometimes I tune in for a bit of that.
Yeah, but they do re-air it the next day, so you can always watch it then.
Awesome.
Yeah, are you following any of the other shows on that are airing on the D&D Twitch right now?
I follow the Monday Crafting, just how to craft your D&D pieces, boots, gloves, and all that.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
Yes, because I do a bit of cosplay in my free time, so I love to, craft stuff. So I really loved watching that show. Of course, Dragon Talk every week.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, listening to Greg Tito and Shelley.
Yes, and I also am a big fan of Roll20 also. Just after our stream, I'm like, okay, I gotta stop because I want to go watch them.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, Adam Kobol's a really killer DM as well. So
yes, he is. I think he was there in chat. So.
Oh, is he?
I don't know.
I haven't been looking.
Yeah.
Quick, keep saying nice things. It's funny. I've actually been finding lately that it's like there's enough stuff I want to watch that it's getting harder to follow it all.
It definitely is, and they keep adding content every time, and it's just so amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's another Maze Arcana show starting soon. I think beginning of March, and then there's obviously they have a few other shows on, and then Girl Scouts Glory comes back in March, and then there's Dice Camera Action on Tuesdays, which I always watch. Although I tend to watch half of it on Tuesday and then the other half the next day while I'm working.
Oh, what's the Sirens?
Sirens of the Realms, yes.
Yes. I love these guys too.
Yeah, it's incredible. If you told me a few years ago that there would be musicians doing a musician-themed Dungeons and Dragons campaign live on any channel, let alone I wouldn't have believed you.
It's awesome. It is really awesome to see that.
Yeah. So is there anything that could be spoiled about potential upcoming updates and DLC for Tales from Candlekeep?
Yes and no. We have something really awesome coming next week, but I can't talk about it yet. But Monday, maybe we'll see. We'll let you guys know next week. But we do have something super awesome coming for Tales from Candlekeep next week.
Excellent.
It's all secrets right now. You guys you have the scoop that we have a secret next week.
Okay.
So we have a question for me. What's the DLC in Tomb of Annihilation? You mean the Tales from Candlekeep game? I could just give a quick summary of what Kawasha
please do. Yes.
All right. Well, Kawasha, first of all, is a human druid. In the game, there's a lot of animal characters like Ashara, of course, is Zanara Kokra with a Tabaxi, and we also have Dragonbait. Artist Imuru is the only human, but now we have Kawasha. He comes as a druid human, and he's the only character that we have in the game that comes with an ally. So we can summon his Veggie Pygmy ally. His name
Nice.
is Kupalue, and it means the walking weed. He's just a little plant guy. So you can summon that character. So a bit of the story of Kawasha is just realizing, there's a death curse that's befallen the land of Toril in the game, and he realizes the threat is really, really getting to a point where it's out of hand, and he just wants to join the party of the other heroes to put an end to a Sararak. And I was mentioning earlier, he can wild shape and transform into different. So he has a lot of powers in the game that are a lot of druid powers, of course. So he has group healing, bark skin, so increase AC. He can increase speed also, but he can also shapeshift. So wild shape into an ape or a velociraptor. He can summon storm clouds, use good berries and stuff like that. So it's really handy in the game, especially when you play harder levels, to have someone that can finally do AoE group healing, defenses. So having the druid in the game changes things around a lot. So Kawasha is available right now on Steam, 20% off. And well, there's also I think you guys also have the Lunar Steam New Year's sale.
Yes, that sprung on us. That came out this morning at, I don't know, 10 a.m. I'm just glad Steam's working.
Yes. So we do have Kawasha at 20%, but we also have sales on the DLCs. Everything's at 33% on the DLCs and the base game as well. So we can go check it out on Steam, guys.
Right on.
If you want to. But we also have upcoming events where Beacom Studio is going to attend. If you want to drop by the booth and play whatever is coming with Tales from Candlekeep. So the team right now is attending Toy Fair. We'll be at GDC also in San Francisco following that. And E3, obviously, Los Angeles in June, and PAX East, also doing PAX East. And so that's what we have confirmed right now for what's coming. So you guys can drop by the booth, play Dungeons and Dragons Tales from Candlekeep with us, or the other titles that we have in the studio. Love to see you there if you are attending.
I don't know that are we going to any of those? I think Eric might be going to GDC.
Okay.
And I think that's it. Because it's weird. We're still like going over our events list for the year. I think TwitchCon is the big one that we're like pushing to be at again.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Because it's growing every year, and they're getting more and more influencers every year. And like last year, they had live role plays of Girl Scouts Glory, of Maze Arcana, of Acquisitions Incorporated. So like all the big streams were there. I mean, Critical Role wasn't, but maybe they will be this year. You can connect with so many influencers at it. So I totally recommend it for that if you're thinking about different ones.
VidCon. I've done VidCon, but never TwitchCon. So it depends, you guys, if you are more on the Twitch side. I assume you're influencer and YouTubers mostly are into one platform or the other, although Twitchers upload their VODs on YouTube for the most part.
Yeah.
So, that's great. Yeah. So TwitchCon, I've never done TwitchCon. I'd love to.
It's fun. Day. Yeah. Just the only recommendation I could make is don't be like us and make sure that you, as soon as the dates are announced, you book your room if you're going to go. Because it's so fast. And you know that they have partnerships with like the local hotels for all the staff and influencers and stuff. But just getting a place that's good that's nearby is.
Where is it? What's the city?
It's right on it's in Long Beach, or at least it has been the last few years. So I mean, it's surrounded by hotels, but.
So many people attending. Yes.
yeah. There's some big crowds. Looks like we have a couple other questions here that Erica put aside.
Okay.
Let's see. Route Jarvie, will there be an option to sell or convert materials in Tales from Candlekeep? In my opinion, the game feels very empty still, and I blasted through it. Are there any bigger updates planned for the game?
Great question. So in the board game, there is a possibility to go shop in between your quests, and it's something we've discussed also internally. Are we going to add this whole hey shopping, selling your materials, crafting with your materials, making potions and whatnot. So it's being looked into. We don't have it currently in short term on the roadmap, but we'd definitely like to work on that in the future. So keep your eyes on the updates. Maybe we'll let you know what comes with the whole shop, but it would be something I would love to do, absolutely.
Okay. And then it looks like Thantanos asks, how many hours of content is there in Tomb of Annihilation? I see a lot of reviews, but few that are over 20 hours played.
Okay, it depends. If you buy the starter pack DLCs, you know, you start the game with better gear. So you go through the quest faster, you maybe don't die as much, you have an extra healing surge, so that helps a lot going through the game quicker. If you play regularly without the DLCs, just the main storyline is at least 20 hours. If you are an achievement hunter, you can go easily 60 hours of getting all the normal quests, art quests, horrific, and my personal game, I'm at 75 something hours. I don't have all of the achievements yet.
Okay.
So there's plenty of replayability. It's hard to say as a French person. Replayability.
Yep.
You know, the game, every time you do a quest, the tiles are dropped randomly, so it's different every time. So we don't know what to expect. But there's a lot of upgrades to do into your crafting materials. So if you want to have the full core experience, don't start with the legendaries, because you could go easily. I think I saw people going through in less than 10 hours,
oh wow,
upgraded materials. That's
quick. Fewer than 10. But I don't know, some players, it's like one of those things where you pick up a copy of, I don't know, somebody goes to hand you a game, you're like, oh, like you should play The Witcher 3, and you're like, oh yeah, sure, I'll play that. How many hours? And they're like 300, and you're like,
yes, I know.
I don't have 300 hours to play a game. How long does it take to play through the story? And they're like, oh, I don't know, 70, 80. Like, that's still pretty long, So it's like, what time do you have?
Yes.
What are you trying to fill up?
Yes, you could just easily just play the storyline, but there's so many side quests. If you do all of these side quests in Skyrim or Witcher, you won't see the end of it. yeah. Or
even the Baldur's Gate games. Those were, I remember them being long. It's been so long since I've played them that I barely remember what's in them, but I remember them taking a while.
Yes.
Yeah. Huh. Oh, did I just wipe? I haven't looked at the game in a while.
Oh yes.
Oh right, because characters are disappearing.
Yeah.
So let me just.
Whoops. I love Nayeli. She's always like my.
She's definitely too good. Nerf Nayeli. That's what I say. Not that anybody wants me to say that. Barrowin's too good. Let's see. Don't mind me. I'm just playing a game.
Of course, yeah. So let's see. Who do you have here?
Just looking at who's left. Because I think that's the challenge with this one, is eventually I think you have down to like 6 characters at the end of this one, which makes it kind of challenging to get through.
I bet they have all crazy armor.
Yeah. All the staff at Codename, like our accounts automatically get all the DLC, so it's like, I don't know how much DLC has come out at this point, but a bit. Wait, no, I don't need to level up Minsk. He's not even in there anymore.
Bayeli, get it right in chat.
Bayeli, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's funny, but it's one of those things where I don't think the approach is going to be to destroy Nayeli. I think the upcoming healing tanking overhaul, like, we're going to make all of the tanks viable, like, not that I can say how, but Justin has talked a bit about it, and it sounds really exciting, and I'm stoked to see it if and when that happens.
So you're not using Minsk?
No, because he's grayed out. Because this is the one where you lose a character slot.
Oh, yeah.
And so the Stokey Minsk slots are gone so far. That's what makes this one hard, because like the characters that remain, if they aren't geared enough, it's really hard to finish. And I tend to idle play. Like, I have this, it's always running on the other screen.
Right.
I tend to leave it going rather than actively play with potions to click through things. So, yeah. But this should be safe to leave it for a bit.
So
without
are
wiping
people
again.
in your studio all like letting their game run in the background?
It's on. Yeah, almost every computer has it running.
Oh, man,
You know,
see.
it's kind of. It's also, it's funny when people ask about it. I'm like, you know, it's actually a really good game to have on while you're working, because you only have to check it every half hour or so. It's like you're gonna get up for a break, or you're gonna go for a smoke, or go to the bathroom. Like, you just tab over, check it, and then you go do whatever.
Move characters around if you need to. And
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah, it's nice to work in an office where if the game is on screen and my boss walks by, he's like, huh, he doesn't care. Like, he's like, oh, good.
Yeah,
you don't
and
get in trouble.
I'm never gonna get tired of the soundtrack either, even if it's the same.
Oh, that's
soundtrack.
good. Thank you.
Because
why produce more music when we can have one song that plays forever?
Because I really enjoy it, and it's really fitting. And I mean, my game is like 400 something. Of course, a lot of idle time in there, but
Yeah.
I really like the
Yeah.
mood it sets you in.
I think our hardcore players are hitting 3,000-ish now.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, since release, which is like, it's getting close to, like, you can't really hit much more than that. You know, the only person who has like insurmountable hours is Dave, because his work in Unity in the developing program for the game counts as hours. So he had 2,000 or 3,000 before the game came out. So he's like, you know, impossibly far ahead. But I think I'm at 2,000 in mine now.
Wow.
Yeah, I may play it a bit, because you know, it's going at home too, right? Like, it's always running.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of neat, and it's also I've never like, idle games are pretty new to me. I didn't jump on the bandwagon when they were really picking up steam and taking off with like AdCap and some of the other ones that came out over the last few years. So it's still new to me having a game that, like, it's okay to have it closed-ish or tabbed out or minimized or whatever, and you just check it when you have time. It's neat.
Well,
Yeah.
I have to confess, I've never really enjoyed an idle game until I found Idle Champions.
Oh, thank you.
You know, I just don't know. I don't know what it is about your game. Of course, there's the D&D whole thing around it, but it just the first idle game I've actually actively really played and enjoyed. So hey.
Oh, right on. I will pass that feedback along to the team. And,
Sure, of course.
yeah. We're getting close to the end of the show.
Oh.
So I guess if we're gonna reiterate some of these Tales from Candlekeep points right now, because obviously the Kawacha DLC came out today.
Yes.
Like, any shout outs, anything else you want to go over before we get towards the end?
So Kawacha DLC out today, but we also have the Lunar New Year sale. So a lot of discounts in some of our products, DLCs, and whatnot. Super secret announcement coming next week. That you guys follow our social media platforms.
Now I'm really curious. I want to hear that announcement.
And we also have our live stream scheduled tomorrow at noon Pacific time. So we'll be showcasing Kawasha, you know, his release and all the other updates that we have there.
Are you gonna like gear him out in like all legendary gear right from the start, just to show it off and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do the hardest mission in the game, you know?
I don't think so. I think we'll probably go with the hardest, which is normal with no upgrades, and just like show what he's capable of in hard situations. I think that's what we're gonna do.
Wow. Oh, looks like I'm starting to get questions about the game again. I've covered a lot of those, but I will hopefully, I'll stick around and chat for a bit after this and try and get to some of them.
Of course.
PB and Jotter is also wondering who will be on your stream tomorrow.
Right, so it'll be our game producer, so Paul Gadebois, and game lead designer Olivier Latouche. So it'll be both of these guys hosting the stream. I'll be behind the camera this time, but you'll enjoy it. So they're going to be covering everything about Kawasha. And it's great to have Olivier with us too, because he's so knowledgeable about the whole background, the lore. So if you have any specific lore or any setting question, he'll be there to answer those questions for you guys.
Oh, good. Right on. Yeah. The lore is... I always hesitate to answer any lore questions, just because there's... Well, first of all, with the Forgotten Realms, there's so much of it. I mean, there's dozens and dozens and dozens of books I think Dritz has started like 40 or 50 books. Never mind other
and
things.
they have more coming, I think.
Yes, they announced that. Was that this week or last week? I think it was last week.
Yes,
it was
recently.
announced that R.A. Salvatore has another Dritz book coming out soon, and it's the first of a trilogy, I think, too.
Oh
so
my, yes.
yeah,
Nice.
so that's pretty cool. Get on the Dritz hype chain again. Get all excited for it.
He's a lot of people's favorite, and for a reason. He's just really plain awesome. So I can't wait to get my hands on these books and see what Salvatore has in store there.
Yeah, you won't be the only one. I'm curious. I mean, there's a stack of them on Adam's desk, and then like in the office library. Well, we have more than one D&D library here. There's several.
Wow.
And just like, it's funny. I think one of the reasons that Codename worked on this game was because, like, the CEO Eric, he has so many minis and so much Dwarven Forge and so many D&D books that I'm pretty sure he was like, his wife made him move them all to the office, because like the office is filled with them. Like over by the refrigerator there are bags of Dwarven Forge, and there's bins of minis, and then like there's minis on every surface and like stacked up in
I
places.
don't want to see this in the house anymore.
That's my guess, just because it's like so much stuff. I'm like, this is a lot of stuff, and like it's not an unusual thing. I mean, I can think of a lot of people I know who are like
Absolutely.
who are DMs who like, they like that the tabletop element of the game. Like they don't want to just describe it to you. They want to be like, and here's the setting. Like lift the cloak, and it's like there's a village, and like the mini characters are there, and the army's there, and like something's on fire or whatever. And so they have all these pieces and all these parts, and it's just like it's crazy. And there's so much of it here. Like there's a frightening amount of it in the office. And then like just before Christmas, around the time that we did our Extra Life stream, where we did the 24-hour streaming thing,
Yes.
Eric came in and he said something about having like this like sort of dream/nightmare that people were taking his minis home from the office.
Oh no.
And I was just like, I'm like, that's an interesting nightmare to have, Eric. Like,
Yeah,
no, we're not
that's
taking your
exciting.
minis. Like, where would I put them?
So amazing.
Yeah.
So nice. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, somebody's asking if we have trading cards for the game. You do have the Steam trading cards.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We've been. I don't know why we haven't pulled the trigger on that. I know they were invented for us. I don't know what the status is on
Oh, okay.
when they're coming out, but someday, trading cards. Yeah, cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Are there any other questions I should have asked that I haven't?
Let's see. Any questions in chat? Maybe one last question.
Yeah. Is there one last question that somebody would like to ask of Sophie before we wrap up today's stream? I'll wait a moment. when patch. If that's referring to our game, when it's ready. If it's referring to their game,
When it's ready.
when it's ready. Yeah.
Awesome.
Gunther,
again.
yeah, that's funny. I could make that dream nightmare come true.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, PB and Jotter, she just mentioned that the guests on stream tomorrow. But
Yeah, game producer and lead game designer tomorrow.
yeah.
Paul and Olivier. We have two polls, so poll 1 and poll 2.
Oh, do you call them Paul 1 and Paul 2, or do you just call them by their last name? Or?
No, say Paul and then last name and then Paul and last name.
Okay, that's funny.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of nicknames, so it's just like if
is
somebody's
the,
not. Yeah.
Is the barbarian my favorite class? It's new to me. I was mentioning earlier, I've always played wizards. So everything magic, everything with area of effect, fireballs, it's always been that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm new to the whole like two-handed axe kind of class, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
I like it. All right.
It's a new one to get used to as well, because once you realize some of the stuff that you can do as a barbarian, never mind going into a rage and all that stuff. You get, once you get like good with a two-handed, like you could just hit something so hard, and you can do it so many times, and you can get hit so hard. It's just like
It is so crazy.
you're just a wrecking ball that tears through everything.
And I mean, I don't take a whole lot of damage also, and as
Yeah.
the only tank in the group, and even the only damage, because we have a bard, we have a cleric, you know, so it's just, all right, I'm going in there. So it's really nice. I'm used to always stay in the back, you know, so it was rude, you just be cautious, but now it's like, all right, let's go. And I like that. I like to do that.
Yeah, no, it's fun. And then you start opening your mind to the other combinations and things that you can do.
Yes.
Yeah, it gets pretty exciting. And we're also doing our final raffle right now.
Oh,
this is
good luck, guys.
The third and final giveaway of the stream for a Tales from Candlekeep Tomb of Annihilation Steam key and a Kawasha the Human Druid DLC Steam key. So yeah, good luck, and congratulations in advance to the winner. When all else fails, did you see that what that person said as the chat goes by? If all else fails, you're a barbarian. Swing the dwarf.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have a dwarf. We have a tabaxi though.
Tabaxis are pretty lightweight. You could swing a tabaxi. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Sophie. I appreciate you taking the time and sticking around in the office and joining us on stream. And
Thank you so much.
yeah, we're excited to hear the secret announcement next week from Beacom. So I guess we'll stay tuned.
Maybe one day you'll be joining our stream also as a guest host.
Well, that could be fun.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much, and thank you, chat. I see a lot of people are.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'll be around behind the camera tomorrow, but other than that, I'll be back next week with more streams coming up for Tales from Candlekeep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sophie, and thank you for joining us, chat. Everybody who's in chat, whether you're an Idle Champions player or a Tales from Candlekeep player or just a D&D player or just checking out a random channel for fun because maybe you wanted to get a giveaway for some Steam content. Yes, thank you for joining us today. It was a wonderful honor to host you. And yes, Critical Role is up next at 7 until next week when it'll be what's Holly Conrad's show's called? I wrote it. I had to write it down. Trapped in the Birdcage, a Planescape game that she's DMing, which starts next week and will be on Thursdays at 5. So yes. Thanks to the Wizards of the Coast team for hosting us, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. Have a good day.
Bye.
Just gonna